Hey, welcome to a brand new episode of the Woodpreneur podcast. This is your host, Steve Larosiliere. Today's guest is Katie Nagji from Swann Closet Design. How you doing, Katie?
Hi. Great. How are you?
Good, good, good. Hey, why don't you tell us what's the origin story behind Swann Closet Design?
Sure. So I have been designing closets for 15 years, actually. I worked for a larger closet company for 12 of that. Most of my time was in New York City. I loved it. It was very fast paced, very fun. I got to see some amazing apartments, do lots of celebrities, and just really fun job. And then I had a baby, moved back to Austin, where I'm from, with my husband. We had our baby during COVID, actually. So it was a good time to leave New York. And I kind of felt like I was starting over. In New York, I had such a network. I had all my clients, I had designers that I worked with, and I had built a really great base. And so when I came here, I was like, I'm starting from scratch. So maybe I should just start from scratch of my own. So I decided to do that and branch out and kind of offer something different than what I was doing before. I love designing closets, but I was ready to kind of mix it up, get a little more creative, and be able to offer something a little bit different.
Cool. So
So
tell us, what are your
years
main
later.
products and services now?
So, and mostly storage spaces, right? So I do focus on the closet typically, but with that comes mud rooms, laundry. I do some offices, built-ins, that kind of thing. So basically any type of storage space, and we do custom millwork. So it's typically going to be wood, a painted or stained wood product, unless, there are occasions I'll use a laminate or something different. But for the most part, we try and stick to a more millwork.
Like pre-finished ply and hardwoods?
Yeah, so we'll do the plywood boxes, and then depending, if it's a white oak, we'll do that for the faces. If it's a paint grade, sometimes we'll use MDF for the faces, drawer and door, but the interiors will be the pre-finished plywood.
That's awesome. How did you start from scratch?
I honestly just jumped in. It was the only option. I had a few clients that were interested in doing some different stuff. And so one of them was my friend, actually. So it's really great. I could just be honest with them and be like, we're going to see how this goes. I'm going to charge you way less. And it's going to be an experiment for me and you, but you're going to get a great product in the end. It might take a little bit longer and see how it goes, but everyone was super wonderful and open to helping me and supportive. And so I honestly just hit the ground running and reached out to everyone that I knew. And Boston has very welcoming and generous design community. It's pretty amazing. And so everyone was willing to help me and maybe I can't do this, but oh, you should call this guy. And after many, many phone calls and emails further down the line, I ended up finding the people that I work with now. But yeah, I really just jumped in and I already had clients and I had to figure it out. But that works for me, honestly, just have something to light a fire.
Ah, so you came in, like you moved, had a kid, and then you're like, I'm gonna do my own business. And so did you just start calling your friends and then in terms of, so you handle the design and the project management and then you outsource the build and install? Is that the way you work?
Yeah. Yes. And so I have a team. I have a couple of teams that I work with all the time. They're not my employees though, so they are outsourced, but they know me, they know how I like things. We work really well together. We have process and system in place. Yeah, I mean, I just found them by aggressively asking everyone I know and following even each path and just finally figuring out who who was offering exactly what I was looking for.
That's great. What are your I mean, 15 years is quite a long time in this business. Like, what have you noticed in terms of trends from, a couple years ago to even now? Like, what are you finding more people are sort of being drawn to?
It's interesting because most of my career was in New York City. So I would say that it was pretty ahead of the curve. And also, New York is something where you really need a closet. And so, you really need to maximize your space, right? So, I would say that I had a jump start on a lot of the aesthetics, but people are really moving more towards a more luxurious closet. They want the integrated lighting. They want the feel. People are using color, which I love. White oak has been something that people have been using for a few years. They're still using it, but I am seeing more color, which is super fun because for 12 years, I didn't really get to do any color. So now, if anyone wants color, I'm pushing that big time. I've done blue closet, pink. I'm doing a green one right now. So it's super fun to just like have variety. And so, yeah, I'm seeing lots of color, lots of just people want to upgrade their space. People want something a more luxurious feel, and it's not just the standard rod and shelf anymore. And it's not just the white basic thing anymore. They want something more fun.
That's awesome. When you first started a couple years ago, what was the vision from the type of business that you wanted and where are you at with the business now?
Well, 2 years goes really quickly. So I would say that my vision for what I wanted is still the same as it is now, which is I really wanted to offer a higher end product. I wanted to work with those people that want a wood product and something that goes along with the rest of your home. So I'm working with a lot of trade, a lot of builders, designers, professional organizers are a great contact for me, but basically people that are considering their closet as an equal part of the home versus in the past, it might have been for a lot of people like, oh, it's just a closet, like just throw some stuff in there. And I'm trying to focus on those people that find value in the aesthetics and the quality of the product as well as the design.
That's awesome. What has been your biggest source of leads?
Referrals. That's how it's fully been. I'm pretty active on Instagram. I try and meet people in the community, have coffee, even a call, whatever people have time for. So I've gotten some clients that way. Designers, I've built connections with builders and designers, and they'll refer their clients to me. Again, professional organizers have sent me some business. It's all been referrals so far. And that's worked really well because it's a trustworthy source and everybody seems to be aligned on what they're looking for when they come to me through a trusted source.
That's awesome. How is the Austin market for you?
Austin market is booming. I mean, it's obviously slowed down a little bit in the last couple years, but I mean, there's a brand new build every other house. There's a lot of stuff happening.
That's awesome. That's great. What's been one of the most rewarding aspects of your business?
Oh man, I think just being able to see this design that I put together, having much more creative freedom and together and knowing that I did it, it's pretty rewarding. It's amazing actually. It's been a lot of hard work, but I find it so much more rewarding to just be doing it for myself versus what I was doing in the past.
For sure. For sure. How big is your internal team? I know that you have a lot of subs, but do you have any help internally?
No, it's just me. My husband does help me. He's in finance. So luckily I have him to help me with a lot of my accounting, taxes, all that kind of stuff. So that's a huge portion, I guess, of my business that I don't have to worry about. So he helps me with that. But otherwise, I don't pay him. But otherwise, it's just me.
That's great. How do you get inspiration for your work? Because I see the luxury of having or the benefit of having the type of like business model that you have that you could really focus on the client experience and the interaction. I'd love to like dive in a little bit more on that aspect. Like you talk about like your inspiration, your process, how you work with clients.
Yeah, I kind of treat each project sort of as an interior design project. So I handle everything. I guess it's kind of like interior designer meets GC in a way because I handle everything. So I start with the demo. I guess I start with the design, right? And I put together all the inspo, like colors. We show them hardware options and just kind of give them a full So it's not just the design. You've got paint colors, you've got hardware, you've got maybe wallpaper in the space, and I try and give a full visual. We do a 3D rendering, and then I handle everything. So it's a really soup to nuts experience. Demo, I handle electrical, I handle install, I handle organizers if they want that piece after it's installed. So it's really a full service experience, and I try and make it as easy on the client as possible. I think in the past it's like, okay, I just do the closet. Anything else, I'm not involved in that at all. But I've really enjoyed being able to be a part of everything, lighting pictures, and just treating it like a whole special space as versus just the one piece of that space.
For sure. Tell me more about the creative process of coming up with designs and how you come up with solutions for clients.
So I always start with a discovery call before I even meet with someone, just to make sure that they have a project that makes sense for me to come in, and I don't want to, make anyone's time. I want to kind of get everyone in the same mental space before we meet there. And also it just kind of puts through a lot of the conversation so that when we meet, we can really focus on the design and the closet itself. I have a call with someone first, and we go over budget, where they are in their timeline. But at that point, I ask for, how far along are you in your process? Are you a person that has gathered like 800 Pinterest photos? Or more often, people are like, I have no idea. I know nothing about closets, really don't know anything. So, surprisingly, because I am different, I would have been like Pinteresting everything. But most people, just are kind of like, I'm starting from scratch. So if they're starting from scratch, it's a little bit tougher, right? Because if I haven't seen their space yet, if they're building a home, like I just try and get as much information as I can. You have a deck from maybe your interior designer. Do you have some, photos from your builder if you're building? I just want to try and get into their head a little bit and see kind of what their style is. If they already live in their space and I'm just redoing it, that's a little bit easier, right? I can just go to their house. I can see what their general style is and I can sort of work from now. But it's different with everyone. I just try and ask as many questions as I can to figure out where they are in their process, and in that process, where they want to be design wise. Or they like, oh, I want super basic. I don't care what it looks like. When someone says that to me, I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm going to be your girl, because I need to tell my care about the face and find value in the aesthetics and the quality, right? So if someone's like, I don't really care, I just want some shells, just white. When someone says just white, typically what that means, like, I don't want to spend money on the finish. So I feel like I'm rambling, but it's so different with everyone. Basically, I try and get as much information in that call to try and figure out where they are in their design process and then go from there. Did that answer your question at all?
It does. Have you had to tell people no before? This is not a right fit. And how do you handle that conversation?
I have, and there's no shame in it, honestly. Like, I think that the larger closet companies have a place, right? Like, they're very successful for a reason. Like, and I think that, yes, I have had to tell people no, but the way that I do it typically is I'm able to kind of give people a range. If I have their floor plan and the size of their closet, I can be like, okay, this is where we are. And if they're like, that is not going to happen, I want this much and it's something I can't, it usually comes down to budget, right? So people, I think, want to work with me. They want to support small businesses. They want to support local, which is really great. But it also comes down to the money at the end of the day for a lot of people. And so that's kind of where I start. And if they can't align on what I'm thinking it's going to be close to, or even close to that, and they're not flexible, then I just say, it's totally fine. I think you might be a better fit for calling X, Y, and Z.
That's awesome. That's great. Where do you want to take your business?
That's a good question. I talk about this a lot because I feel like I should know, and maybe I'm not sure yet. I'm loving where it's going. I am having so much fun. It's super rewarding. but I mean, I think I would like to grow it, right? I don't think that I want to be this huge closet company. I enjoy a small company, but I would love to get to a point where I have maybe another designer, an assistant to help me with things like procurement and just all the little day-to-day minutia. So maybe a couple employees would be nice. I'm not sure yet, but I'm working on it.
Well, maybe that would be a good jumping off point for, just the part of the podcast where you get to ask any marketing or business advice. Like, is there anything that you would like to think through or brainstorm to help you grow, or a challenge that you'd like to, get some advice on?
Yeah, for sure. I've been doing this almost 2 years now, and it's the marketing aspect that I struggle with, right? So how do I get myself in front of the right people? And in getting in front of those people, how do I gain their trust and their confidence in working with me since I am fairly new? Instagram is what I've been using as far as getting my work out there and showing photos. I think that's a great resource, but beyond that, I'm not really sure where to go or what to do.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the question is, how do you get your brand and in front of the right people and instill a level of trust within them?
Exactly, because it is a luxury product. So people that are offering a luxury service need to make sure that the people that they work with are also offering an equally quality product, right? And so how do I get in front of those people? And also how do I, you know, get those people to use me, to trust me?
Let me ask you this. In the Austin market, and I know that's where you're from and you deal with a lot of wealthy people, is wealth like openly displayed or is it subtly displayed?
That's a good question. I'd say probably more subtly. It's a pretty down to earth community. And so the person maybe wearing flip flops and shorts could be the billionaire. So I would say it's not a flashy city by any means. I'm sure there's some, but for the most part, it's pretty low key.
In terms of homes, is it flashy or
Mm.
is it,
How?
yeah,
Probably fairly. It's a very modern vibe right now. Everything is like boxes, tons of glass.
yeah.
So I would say that's on the flashier side for sure.
Okay. Because the thing that I think a lot about is, so I'm looking at your Instagram and I'm looking at your reels. It'd be great that I would love to see more. I actually, you know what? That one's pretty cool. The celebrity closets that you just did. Let me see how many views that got. Yeah, here's what I'm thinking. Like, A is I would take a more informative educational route as it comes to closets and almost put out content. So like one of your posts that the one from an hour ago, the white oak one, where you just told people like how much it would cost, like doing more of that.
Okay.
And like you could do the green screen talking head where you can point to say like, and I would literally take a more educational route
Okay.
and out educate everybody. And in that process, come up with like your pin post on Instagram. If you get a lot of traction from Instagram, one would be an about us. The second one would be how some testimonials. And then the third would be to talk about your process, right? And then all of your content should literally be walkthroughs of closets that you've done. And this client, you don't have to mention names, but mention the city, the neighborhood, the style, what they were going for, talk about the different features and the benefits and say like, all right, so this particular closet, had a lot of shelves for Birkin bags. Or Louis Vuitton shoes. And if you start mentioning those things, right, there's a thing called, I forgot what they call it. I mean, it's just search engine optimization, but for social media
And that's
channels.
in videos or it doesn't
Yep.
matter. Like,
It's in your words and it's in your caption.
okay.
And like Instagram like picks that stuff up. Cause remember back in the day, Like you had to write a lot of blogs in order for people to get search. So now search is with your voice and with your caption, which is really, really interesting. But you have a lot of positive associations, right? So like you have like you can talk about the different neighborhoods. And I know that you put like, like this one, it said Austin, Texas, but I would even get more drilled down and put the neighborhood that this closet was in, right? Because then when people search by the neighborhood, they'll look at the places, right? So let me see if I could share. But so like, when you click like said Austin, Texas on a post and you can click
Right.
it and then the map shows up and you can see the related posts.
Okay.
So
So when someone else is clicking in like whatever neighborhood, they'll
yeah, and
see
so if
that.
somebody wants to click on a neighborhood that they're interested in and they see a closet, like you will stand out. So that's the first thing is that like the first thing is I would out educate everybody. Just literally spill the tea. Tell everybody like how you work, how to design their own closet. Cause like, wouldn't it be awesome if you had a client that came to you with their own ideas?
Of course. I love it.
Right? Wouldn't that be great? Right? So I'll educate everybody. Two is to geo target your images and use words in your video that have luxury connotations. So like, like whether it is, luxury handbags or shoes or whatever, use those things in there because now your potential clients can start seeing themselves in your,
Smart. I love that. And does
this
that work when you're doing does it have to be a video or can I just be talking type video with a
be
picture?
talking. Yeah, you can be talking. Yes, you can. Yeah, yeah. But it's your voice,
Yeah.
essentially. It's your voice. Yeah. The third would be, if I tell you this, you're gonna make money. I guarantee it. Like when I tell you this, you're gonna make money. Boost that post, the white oak post. Boost it in the neighborhoods that you want.
Oh, I didn't even know you could do that.
That's what I would do. I would boost it. I would put $100 on that. And I would bet money that you get some Instagram DMs of people that are like, I'm interested.
Wow.
You
Okay.
will.
Well, you go.
Okay. And then, oh my God, that closet's so beautiful.
I know.
That's so beautiful. Literally, you will, yeah, you're gonna make money. And so there's that. And then the last thing is I would intentionally partner with people who are serving your existing clients. So I'm about to do this myself. Like I would, I would host a party in partnership with some other luxury realtors, some home builders, some organizers, like literally, and then like you're moderating it. If you can, if you have somebody with an amazing home that loves you and you want to host a walkthrough of their closet, like have a closet party, like that, like I'm planning to do, like I can't do what you can do now, but I'm planning to host a party with all of my prospects, all of my trade, interior designer partners, like literally. So
That's fun. I love
here's
that idea.
here's the context. In a world which is becoming increasingly, becoming increasingly more digital, and in a world which is becoming increasingly more divided, in-person things are more important. Community is actually more important now than ever. And if you could use the context of having a really dope closet as just like a getaway for people to just think about, like, like making their home beautiful, and they can connect with people and bond with people and talk design and pretty things. Like, I mean, why do you think people go to basketball games? Like, why do you think people go to like, sports and like go like, But if you can be the source of something that is aspirational in a community of people just like them, oh my God, I think you're going to win like big. Like that's what I'm betting on. Like I'm betting on in-person events. And especially like if you can tie yourself, this is another thing that I'm doing. Like tie yourself to, so you have two young kids. How old are your kids?
2 and 4.
So they're not in school yet, right?
Right.
You're pre-K.
Yes,
Oh,
we actually look at schools to see like where can I find business?
it's no mistake. I picked my school. I mean, my school, I'm a sponsor of my kids' school and I get a lot of airtime because I'm a
Yeah.
sponsor.
Yeah, you're a trusted individual in the community.
That and this goes back to your initial question is it's always about showing up, being present, ever present. And you can do that with content. You can do that with your content. So I'll educate, talk about like aspirational things in your content so that your
Mhm.
clients can see themselves. The
That's
third
right.
thing is to boost your posts, like literally your best work, throw $100 on it. Like put in your credit card and just do it and then put in the areas that you want to be in the neighborhood. And then the fourth thing is do more in-person events.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
That's
Like
super helpful.
I would tell you this. I've been attempting to like I'm not there yet, but like network a lot with like the Porsche industry, like luxury cars. Like
Okay.
why? Because people that care about like custom things probably like luxury exotic cars,
Who doesn't like luxury exotic?
right? So
Can't go wrong.
it's about psychographic like alignment, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you care about your closets, luxury closets, like you probably have a nice car and it's probably not dirty. It's probably a really nice detailed car.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
anyway, is that
true.
helpful?
That's super helpful. I've been like super stuck on this. So that's actually some great places for me to start for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey, why don't you tell everybody your website?
It's Swann Closet Design, and there's 2 N's. So it's Swann, SWANN, closetdesign.com.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your story. And I look forward to getting it out to Woodpreneur community.
Thank you so much. It was great.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.